dignity of every human life. In 2026, as we celebrate 250 years since our founding fathers recognized the right to life in our Declaration of Independence, I want to thank every single one of you who was out on this winter day, a beautiful day, but it's winter nevertheless, to stand up for the unborn. 6 years ago, I was proud to be the first president in history to attend this march in person. Since then, we have made unprecedented strides to protect innocent life and support the institution of the family like never before. There's never been anything like it. In my first term, I was honored to appoint judges and justices who believed in interpreting the Constitution as written. That was a big deal. And because of that, the pro-life movement won the greatest victory in its history. Now the work to rebuild a culture that supports life continues in every state, every community, and every part of our beautiful land. This is a battle that must be fought, must be won, not only in the corridors of power, but above all in the hearts and souls of the people. That is why under the Trump administration, we're strongly defending religious liberty. We're bringing back faith in America. We're bringing back God. We have stopped forced taxpayer funding of abortion at home and abroad. We're championing faith-based adoption and foster care and supporting our parents by investing $1,000 into an account that will grow over time for every newborn baby. With your help and support, we will continue to fight at the eternal truth that every child is a gift from God. Thank you, and God bless America.
All right, how about that? Thank you to our president for all of the pro-life victories he's delivered in his first 5 years in office so far. We are looking forward to many more in the next few years. We have some folks here with us today from the president's team in the White House, and I'm asking them to make sure that the president hears of your excitement about and gratitude for his pro-life policies. Can we thank President Trump once more? And now, he stood on this stage last year in his first public appearance after a pretty important day in his life, and he promised he'd return. Well, marchers, today he is keeping that promise. It is my great honor to welcome back to the March for Life stage your Vice President of the United States, JD Vance.
Good morning, marchers. How we doing? It's great to be with you again. It was my very first speech as Vice President of the United States was the March for Life last year, and I'm proud to be back with much better weather this time around. Now, some of you may remember that in my remarks last year, I told you all that one of the things I most wanted in the United States of America was more families and more babies. So let the record show, you have a vice president who practices what he preaches. Usha and I announced this week that we're expecting our fourth and it will be our third baby boy, so we'll take whatever prayers you can give. We certainly need them. And when I was here last year, I had one other piece of advice for this group, and that was very simple: to be joyful in your advocacy. And looking out at this crowd today, it seems like you took that suggestion very well to heart. Because I see joyful people, I see grandmas, I see parents, I see beautiful little kids with incredible green hats. Now, did you all dress like that so that if you lost yourselves, you could find everybody? Okay, that's a good plan. I'm going to take that advice back home. The theme of this year's March for Life, as most of you all know, is that life is a gift. And I know for me personally, this year there is so much to be thankful for. I'm grateful to my own family, for my beautiful wife, Usha, and that God has given us the miracle of new life again. I'm grateful for this movement, for the truth that is on our side, and frankly, I'm thankful for the technological breakthroughs that have allowed us to affirm and protect life. Things like 3D ultrasounds that didn't exist just a few short decades ago. Things like the new medical technologies that have saved the lives of countless premature babies. But let me today say that I am especially grateful for all of you, even the ones with Michigan hats, and there are a couple of you out there. For the thousands of men and women and children, for the church groups, the school groups, the grandparents and the toddlers and everyone in between who braved this chilly Washington afternoon. All of us in the Trump administration, from the president on down, we thank you for your prayers, we thank you for your perseverance, and we thank you that for today, we are all marching for life. Now, I know a lot of us heard from the president just before this, so you know that he loves and cares deeply about this movement. And it's why he has fought for the pro-life cause and why we do it in this administration. And it's why 3 years ago, we cannot forget, he delivered and his Supreme Court justices delivered the most important Supreme Court decision of my lifetime. Because with the Dobbs decision, what we did, what the president did, what the Supreme Court did, was put a definitive end to the tyranny of judicial rule on the question of human life. He shattered a 50-year culture of disposability, one that treated human life as expendable the moment that it became inconvenient. And he empowered our nation and our movement to build a culture of life from the grassroots up. And over the last year, I gotta brag a little bit, our administration has worked very hard to lead that effort and to pick up the pieces, to clean up the wreckages of 5 decades of bad policy on the question of life. It's an amazing crowd. Now, our vision is simple. We want life to thrive in the United States of America. We want Americans, every American from all walk of life, to have happy, healthy children. And we want them to raise those kids with confidence that their kids are going to do well and grow up in safety and prosperity, that they'll have access to good jobs, great schools, safe streets, and warm houses in which to raise their kids. And we want all of our American families to be able to do it with the confidence that their nation will stand with them just as they have stood with the United States of America. Now, you all know this very well, that building a culture of life requires persuasion. And that's what's so different about this moment compared to the moment that was dominated by the Supreme Court for 50 years. We're not trying to argue to the Supreme Court anymore. We're trying to argue to our fellow citizens that we must build up that culture of life. And as you know, that effort is going to take a lot of time, it's going to take a lot of energy, and it's going to take a little bit of money. And that's why we're here, because you know that. We're marching for life because we want our wonderful fellow Americans, even if they don't disagree with us, to know that life is worthy, it is worthy of protection, and that is why we march today. So let me tell you something very simple. That under this administration, again, from the President of the United States, the Vice President, you have an ally in the White House. Now some of our work over the last year has been very straightforward and very easy. We started by undoing the evils we saw under the previous administration. Like, for example, throwing priests and grandmothers in prison for praying outside a clinic. That's over. We stopped it. Where the previous administration mandated taxpayer funding for abortions, including travel costs across the entire government, this administration ended it. And over the past year, we built steadily upon the victories of the president's first term. We have secured religious freedom in the United States of America once again. That was important. We have ended the censorship of Christians, Jews, and other Americans of faith who are punished simply for following their faith in public life. We have expanded conscience protections for healthcare workers and defended faith-based foster care and adoption. We gutted Biden-era rules and ensured that no nun, no nurse, no pharmacist, and no physician has to check their faith and their values at the door of their workplace. And under the last administration, under President Biden and congressional Democrats, the power of government, we know, was marshaled against us, against our faith, against our families, and most importantly, against the most vulnerable. That stopped with the Trump administration, and it is not coming back. Just this week, we took action to force Illinois into compliance with the Weldon Amendment and stop making healthcare providers refer for abortions. That was a big one. And as the president knows better than anybody, if we want to convince more Americans to choose life, we must also choose policies that make family life possible. So we've done that as well. With the Trump accounts, we started at the very beginning of life, investing in every new American child from day one onward. We've stood with parents by boosting the child tax credit as well, because no family should be penalized for choosing to have kids. In fact, we ought to be rewarding for families for choosing to have kids. And when Usha and I were having the debate about whether we were going to have a fourth kid, I said, honey, we've got an expanded child tax credit and we've got the Trump accounts. We got to take advantage of this stuff. We're restoring homeownership for real families, and you may not think this is connected to the pro-life cause, but when we ensure that real families, moms and dads, instead of Wall Street, have access to American homes, we help create that important culture of life. And the thing that I'm perhaps the most proud of is that we have been responsible stewards of your tax dollars on this question of life. And so, just yesterday, this administration launched fraud investigations into Planned Parenthood affiliates. For millions of dollars in PPP loans that were unlawfully received and unlawfully forgiven by the Biden administration. You should not be able to commit fraud and use taxpayer money for abortion. It's that simple. At many of our departments, we've reinstated a ban on the use of fetal tissue in federal research. That's another big one. And this is something we're so proud of. We're returning accountability to our foreign policy as well. Under Joe Biden, It was the policy of the United States to export abortion and radical gender ideology all around the world. That is what they did with your tax money. They would relentlessly bully developing countries into parroting their far-left views. But under President Trump's leadership and with our great Secretary of State, we believe that every country in the world has the duty to protect life. And that it's not our job as the United States of America to promote radical gender ideology. It's our job to promote families and human flourishing. Now that's why we've completely realigned U.S. foreign aid and turned off the tap for NGOs whose sole purpose is to dissuade people from having kids. It's why we rejoined the Geneva Consensus Declaration to promote maternal health and strong families all over the world. And it's why we speak up when other nations throw pro-life and pro-family advocates in prison for silent prayer, which we've seen way too much, but it's got to stop. And today, our administration is proud to announce a historic expansion of the Mexico City policy. We're going to start blocking every international GO that performs or promotes abortion abroad from receiving $1 of U.S. money. Now, we're expanding this policy to protect life, to combat DEI, and the radical gender ideologies that prey on our children. And with these additions, the rule will now cover every non-military foreign assistance that America sends. All in all, we have expanded the Mexico City policy about 3 times as big as it was before, and we're proud of it because we believe in fighting for life. And a lot of you may know that under the Biden administration, they used Medicaid and other programs to launder your tax dollars into abortion money all over the United States of America. And with the help of our Republican majorities in Congress, with the Working Families Tax Cuts, we stopped that practice once and for all. It's illegal now, exactly as it should be. Let me just say, my friends, that we have to be clear. We cannot be neutral. Our country cannot be indifferent about whether its next generations live or die. Because, think about it, what ultimately gives meaning and life to the United States of America, this is not a new question. Every civilization has been forced to answer it. You march today, we march today, because you have an answer to this question about what kind of civilization we are, and about what kind of civilization we're going to become in the future. I read an article some time ago. It was about classic archaeology, of all things. And one particular piece of information has haunted me. That one of the telltale signs of an ancient brothel in the pagan world was that you'd always find a large number of baby skeletons nearby. A lot of baby skeletons, and those bones predominantly belong to boys. Because unlike little girls, those boys would be of no use to the future adults who are running those brothels. Now, this is shocking to us because we grew up in a Christian culture and were formed by religious values. Even those of us who aren't particularly faithful, it's a shocking thing to hear. But we have to remember that in the ancient pagan world, discarding children was routine. From the skeletons in brothels to the child sacrifice of the Mayans, the mark of barbarism is that we treat babies like inconveniences to be discarded rather than the blessings to cherish that they are. But the inheritance of our civilization is something else. The fact that, as Scripture tells us, Each life is fearfully and wonderfully made by our Creator. The March for Life, my friends, it's not just about a political issue as important as all this politics stuff is. It is about whether we will remain a civilization under God, or whether we ultimately return to the paganism that dominated the past. Today, the far left in this country tells our young people that marriage and children are obstacles, that it's irresponsible, even immoral because of climate change or some other reason, to encourage our young people to raise a family. They tell us that life itself is a burden, but we here at this march, we know that it's a lie. We know that life is a gift. We know that babies are precious because we know them and we love them and we see the way that they can transform our families. We know that family is not just the source of a great joy, but it's part of God's design for men and women, a design that extends outward from the family to our neighborhoods, to our communities, and to the United States of America itself. And we here know that treating everyone with dignity isn't always easy. It's not always convenient, but it's the right thing to do. We know that the people telling our young men and women that discarding family and children is a form of liberation, we know that those people are telling a lie. And so, to our fellow Americans, we march in part to serve as a witness. To our fellow Americans, we say, you're never going to find great meaning in a cubicle or in front of a computer screen, but you will find great meaning if you dedicate yourself to the creation and sustenance of human life. Now, I must address an elephant in the room, and I've heard the guy over here talking about it. A fear that some of you have that not enough progress has been made, that not enough has happened in the political arena, that we're not going fast enough, that our politics have failed to answer the clarion call to life that this march represents and that all of us, I believe, hold in our hearts. And I want you to know that I hear you and that I understand. There will inevitably be debates within this movement. We love each other, but we're going to have open conversations about how best to use our political system to advance life, how prudential we must be in the cause of advancing human life. I think these are good, honest, and natural debates. And frankly, they're not just good for all of you, they help keep people like me honest, and that's an important thing. But I think all of us also have to remember that we are commanded to let not our hearts be troubled. Because I look at this crowd and I see young people for whom Dobbs is the only world they've ever known. And I see people with just a little bit more gray in their hair who for 50 years toiled to live in a country where questions of life would be answered by we the people rather than tyrants in robes. All of us have heard their stories. They've heard of the movement betrayed, of taking one step forward and then 2 steps back and then 3 steps forward after that. They know stories of heartbreak and of triumph. Some of them I've known very personally from ballot issues that I fought very hard for, some of which have gone the right way and some of which have gone the wrong way. And I remember friends of mine who spent their entire lives fighting for the unborn without ever seeing the victories that have accumulated in recent years. My friends, I'd ask you to look where the fight for life stood just 1 decade ago. And now, look where it stands today. We have made tremendous strides over the last year, and we're going to continue to make strides over the next 3 years to come. But I'm a realist. I know that there is still much road ahead to travel together. Take heart. Take heart in how far we've come, but don't lose sight of why we march. And so long as you are out there marching for life, I hope you know that the Vice President of the United States will march with you. God bless you all, and thanks for having me.
One more time for coming to march with us today. Mr. Vice President, thank you for standing with the pro-life movement and for your inspiring remarks. On behalf of our marchers, congratulations again to you and the Second Lady on your baby on the way. Joining me now on stage are courageous pro-life leaders and members of the United States Congress. I'd like to take a moment to recognize and thank each one of them for standing with us today and for their crucial work protecting babies and supporting moms. We are joined today by Congressman Andy Harris from Maryland, close to a hometown congressman here where we stand. Congressman Michael Cloud from Texas. Congressman John McGuire from Virginia. Congresswoman Michelle Fischbach, Minnesota. Congressman William Timmons from South Carolina. Congressman Robert Aderholt from Alabama. Congressman Andrew Clyde from Georgia. Congressman Bob Onder from Missouri. Got some Missourians here. Congressman Tim Walberg from Michigan. Congresswoman Kat Cammack from Florida. Congressman Dan Crenshaw from Texas. Congressman Dan Muser from Pennsylvania. Congressman Bill Huizenga from Michigan. Congressman Glenn Grothman from Wisconsin. Congressman French Hill from Arkansas. And Congressman Mike Kennedy from Utah. Thank you all for standing with us today. We are honored to be joined by these elected leaders who are fighting for life on behalf of all of you on Capitol Hill. And now I am thrilled to welcome to the podium two incredibly dedicated pro-life champions in Congress, the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, Mike Johnson, and U.S. Representative Chris Smith. Speaker Mike Johnson is a Republican member of Congress, proudly serving Louisiana's 4th District. You have some friends out there. He's a dedicated husband and father, an attorney, and has devoted his life to fighting for the fundamental freedoms and traditional values of the United States. His leadership has been indispensable for the cause of life, especially last summer when he led the House of Representatives to vote to defund Planned Parenthood. Marchers that would not have happened without Speaker Mike Johnson. We also were so blessed last year to hear your personal testimony, Mr. Speaker, about your parents choosing life when they were expecting you. So thank you for returning. After him, we'll hear from Congressman Chris Smith, who represents New Jersey's 4th District and has chaired the Congressional Pro-Life Caucus for over 4 decades, longer than many of you have been alive, tirelessly working on behalf of the unborn and their mothers. He has also spoken at every March for Life for decades as a devoted friend to the cause of life. Following Speaker Johnson and Congressman Smith, we'll watch a video greeting from Senate Majority Leader John Thune, who is out of town today but wanted to be with you in spirit, another dedicated advocate for the unborn. Now please help me give a warm welcome to Speaker Johnson and Congressman Chris Smith.
Wow, thanks so much. What a great crowd, and right on the verge of a polar vortex. Your commitment is greatly appreciated. I want to congratulate my friend JD for the big announcement on the baby that's due in July. I told him backstage. My wife Kelly's with me. Kelly, raise your hand. My wife Kelly. We have 4 children as well. We all celebrate life in word and in deed, and we're so glad that you are here to prove that. This is an important weekend. It always is, because we welcome the opportunity to recommit ourselves to this cause of life and to remember why it is we gather in March in the cold weather. It's important for us to stand together. And my friends, it's especially important this year because, as you know, this is the year we celebrate our nation's 250th birthday, the greatest nation in the history of the world. The thing that we celebrate about America, there's so much for which we are blessed and we're thankful for, but the thing that we remember, especially at this time, is the foundational truth of America, the bold statement of faith that set this experiment in self-governance, this independent country, along its way. We celebrate the self-evident truth that all people, every single person is made by God. We are made by our Creator. Yes. The founders understood that we are made in the image of our Creator and that He is the one that gives us our inalienable rights, the rights to life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. Our rights do not derive from the government. They derive from God Himself, and we need to remind everybody of that. We celebrate that premise here today and every day because we understand that is what makes America unique and special, the idea that we are made in the image of God, and we owe our responsibility to Him as well, and we have to exercise that freedom in a responsible manner. This moment is truly an historic one for the pro-life movement, and you all know that. For the first time since Roe v. Wade was reversed, we have the White House, the Senate, and the House all working together to deliver meaningful and historic pro-life victories. And just consider, as the Vice President was saying just a moment ago, just consider what 1 year of common sense pro-life leadership can actually accomplish. With President Trump and Vice President Vance, the Republican team is making and taking a new approach. For the first time, our greatest metric of success is not just the size of the gross domestic product or highs in the stock market. It is the strength of the American family again. That's what we've brought back. That's what we've brought back. We measure our success on the number of lives we save and the lives we improve and uplift with common sense, life-affirming policies. It's you, my friends, who will help us to usher in America's new golden age, as President Trump says. And as Vice President said here, Republicans are working hard to deliver on the mandate that you gave us in the last election to make it easier than ever before to raise a family in this great country of ours. And because we know that support for American families doesn't end at birth, our policies reflect this. With the Working Families Tax Cuts, for example, we passed the most pro-life and pro-family legislation that has been signed into law in decades, and we did it on July 4th last year. We worked hard, this group of legislators behind me and all of our colleagues, we worked hard to expand the child tax credit, to enhance the adoption tax credit, and we launched the first of its kind Trump investment accounts for every newborn in America. Thanks to this bill, we also delivered the largest middle and working class tax cuts in the history of this country. And yeah, that's right, worthy of applause. We put more money in your pocket, and you can decide what's best for your family instead of government bureaucrats. We also achieved something that is totally unprecedented, and it was mentioned a little bit earlier, and we should say it again. For years now, we know that Medicaid funds have skirted the essential protections under the Hyde Amendment and funneled tax dollars to abortion providers. And we said no more. And in the Working Families Tax Cut, the big beautiful bill, for the first time ever, we finally defunded big abortion. And it was a long time coming. We stand here today with one united voice to affirm the federal government should not be subsidizing any industry that profits from the elimination of human life. And today I'm so proud to stand along so many principal leaders here in Congress. You heard their names. They helped us achieve these victories. Chris Smith, as was said, for 4 decades has been leading the pro-life caucus in Congress. Just this week, Congresswoman Michelle Fischbach, Michelle, raise your hand. She introduced, She introduced her bill, ensuring federal assistance can be used to support pregnancy resource centers across the country. That's a big thing. We know how important those centers are to give hundreds of thousands of pregnant women and moms a choice in the care they receive. Another warrior, Congresswoman Ashley Hinson, passed her bill, the Pregnant Students' Rights Act, which equips young women finishing their education with the resources they need to choose life. I could go on and on, yes. I could be up here all day telling you about all of the things that are being done, but you need to know, in summary, that we are fulfilling our promises. And that promise that is central to what we stand for is to protect the sanctity of human life. We contend these warriors, and I tell you what, in the election cycle coming up this year, we're going to send some more pro-life champions here to Congress. I just want to close with this. It was mentioned earlier that we all have a reason that we march. We all have a reason that we believe so strongly in this principle, and my life story is that one. And in 2 sentences, I was the product of an unplanned teen pregnancy, exactly 1 year before Roe in January of 1972. And a lot of people try to convince my very young parents that they should just take care of that problem. But I am eternally grateful that they allowed me the chance at life. I think of the millions of children that did not have that same opportunity. And every single child deserves the opportunity to fulfill their God-given potential. And it is up to us to defend that freedom and that right, that essential freedom to be born, the unalienable right to life that is imperiled in our generation. And we're so grateful that you are willing to march and stand and speak for that issue. I'm happy to say that all this is changing because of you. And despite the special interests that fund abortion, and despite the voices that tell you to look away from the beating heart, and despite all those who continue to deny the truth, you are here, and we are here, and we stand together for life. We're so grateful for all that you do. Every single one of you has the power to change hearts and minds and ultimately to save lives, and we can never forget that, and I know that you want. I want to thank you all for coming out, braving the cold and the weather that's on the way. It's worth it. We're going to save lives together. God bless you all. May God bless the United States of America.
We have an amazing speaker. He's strong, he's lion-hearted, he's got a heart of gold as well. And does he ever lead effectively, especially now that we have such a narrow majority? He's just amazing. Steve Scalise, a great majority leader. We have a leadership that is second to none. I've been here since Ronald Reagan's first election, 1981. And I can tell you, this leadership is the most pro-life, so committed, and behind me are just absolute heroes. Men and women who take up the fight every single day. You know, Michelle Fischbach's bill that passed this week to help pregnancy care centers, only one Democrat voted for it. And the debate, if you go back and watch it on C-SPAN, was disgusting as the pregnancy care centers were smeared by the Democrats who were leading the charge against it. Of course, Michelle stood strongly against it and did an amazing job, and we did secure its passage. Let me just say very briefly, my dear wife Marie and I, more than 50 years ago, met in the pro-life movement. And today, like you, we are more committed, hope-filled, determined, and let me add, more impatient than ever to see life celebrated as a gift from God. With indomitable faith, compassion, and tenacity, and all of you I know are doing this, we must today recommit to protecting the weakest and the most vulnerable. As the speaker has indicated and others before, more than 2,700 pregnancy care resource centers throughout the U.S. are helping women choose life. And each and every one of those centers is an oasis of love, empathy, compassion, and they have helped so many women, both during the pregnancy and afterwards, as well as the families. Yet, all over the country, especially in my state of New Jersey, there's an all-out effort to shutter them, to shut them down, which is outrageous. The smears that are being borne by the pregnancy care center community are unconscionable, and we need to push back as never before to protect them. Let me remind everybody that the Knights of Columbus did another Marist poll, and it did find that 84% of Americans, including 75% of Democrats, support pregnancy care centers. Let me just say briefly, and I know you know this, and I hope the media takes more note of it as this day and these days go on, but the purveyors of death and their enablers in politics and academia and elsewhere aggressively foster a culture of death, and they do employ a seemingly endless array of deceitful tactics, often the big lie, to trivialize and mask the cruelty of abortion. The abortion pill, mifepristone, is baby poison that kills the unborn child by starving the baby girl or the baby boy to death. That's how it works. Starvation, a pill to starve another human being. We now know that the abortion pill, and we've long suspected this, is extremely dangerous to women. And I ask the media, investigative reporters, start uncovering or get rid of this cover-up that we've had since the Clinton administration. The Ethics in Public Policy Center released a historic report that found that, called The Abortion Pill Harms Women, and they found that over 10% of all women who take that pill have very serious adverse events because of it, including sepsis and hemorrhaging. FDA says it's 0.5%. Those numbers were cooked up by previous Obama and, of course, the Clinton and then into the Biden administration. That's got to stop. We've got to unmask this herder, this killer of women, as well as the adverse effect it's having. Let me just conclude. And you heard it from our Vice President so eloquently in his remarks. But President Trump's new comprehensive Protecting Life in Foreign Assistance, also known as the Mexico City policy, and as you know, it got its name because Reagan sent a delegation to a UN conference in Mexico City, and at that, Senator James Buckley and others announced this tremendous policy of no longer supporting any organization that promotes or supports abortion. And then, though, it only applied to family planning, about $500 million. Trump, in his first term, put all global health under that. That was about $9 billion. And today, he's putting all foreign assistance, about $30 billion, under the Mexico City provisions. And that means that the Planned Parenthoods, the Marie Stopes Internationals, and all of these other hideous groups that kill babies, promote the killing of babies, every day of the week, they do it here in Washington, they do it in foreign capitals, are defunded by this administration. Each and every day, my friends, and I conclude, thanks to your efforts and your prayers, many unborn children and their mothers have been, are being, and will be protected. We know that the injustice of abortion need not be forever. God bless you, everyone.
Hello, marchers. I'm very sorry I couldn't be with you all today, but I wanted to send my greetings. My greetings and my gratitude to all of you for making your way to D.C. from every corner of the country to stand up for the right to life. You are here today to witness the great truth that every human being, Every human being, no matter how small or vulnerable, is infinitely valuable, created in the image of God. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, the Lord says in Jeremiah. Before you were born, I set you apart. Abortion is an evil that's too often brushed to the side. But you all are ensuring that we don't brush it aside. And I am proud to stand with you. And I am very proud to be able to say to you today that in 2025, for the first time ever, Congress defunded big abortion. With the Working Families Tax Cuts, Congress enacted the first pro-life law in decades. And thanks to that landmark legislation, this year some of the nation's largest abortion providers, including Planned Parenthood, are prohibited from receiving Medicaid funding. The organizations that have turned the killing of babies into a business are cut off. Next week, we'll be considering legislation to ensure that pregnant college students have access to the support that they need to carry their baby to term and to care for their child. And I pledge to you that as Majority Leader of the United States Senate, I and my pro-life colleagues will continue to do everything we can in Congress to support moms and protect preborn children. We may not always be successful, but we will never stop trying. Thank you all for being at the march today, and God bless you all as you stand up for the great gift of human life.
Thank you, Speaker Johnson and Congressman Smith, and we're grateful to Leader Thune for his remarks as well. Marchers, we are at a crucial moment for the cause of life on Capitol Hill. Just this week, the House of Representatives passed 2 bills that strengthen support for women, babies, and families, helping ensure that they are better equipped to choose life. Our thanks to the House for passing the Pregnant Students' Rights Act, which ensures that college women who are pregnant have support that they deserve from their universities. And the Supporting Pregnant and Parenting Women and Families Act. Thanks again to our members for those important votes. But now, we have a lot more work to do. So now, today, marchers, you have an opportunity to contact your senators who are right in the middle of debates and discussions about health care in America, and ask them to ensure that any and all government funding for health care, whether that's funding for insurance coverage or funding directly to consumers, is protected by the long-standing Hyde Amendment. In other words, no taxpayer dollars should be used to pay for abortions, including through any form of insurance coverage for abortion. If Hyde is not included, there should be no health care deal. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I know your fingers are cold, but pull out your cell phone right now. Take your gloves off if you have to. I know some of you are young enough that you don't carry cell phones, and that's fine. You have an exemption, but everyone else, can you pull out your cell phone and hold it up so I can see it? All right, good. I see a lot of phones here. All right, so here's what you're going to do. Text MARCH to 73075. You'll be taken directly to a platform where you can send a message to your senator that you want them to support the Hyde Amendment and reject any health care proposal that would allow taxpayer dollars to be used for abortions or insurance coverage of abortions. This is really important and extremely timely. I'm sure you've been reading about this in the news quite a bit lately. So let's let your senators hear the voices of Marchers for Life today. Open your texting app, type MARCH, M-A-R-C-H, and send it to 73075. Can you hold up your phone once you've done that? Yes, look at all of that strong advocacy out there. March to 73075 to be a voice for the voiceless. Together, we will send a powerful message to your senators that we want them to stand firm and be courageous for life. Thank you, marchers, for your engagement on this important issue. You will make a difference. Now I'd like to welcome some very special guests to the stage. All right. Since we're, hi, honey. Since we're all spending some quality time together today, I thought we should take a minute to get to know each other a little bit better, shall we? All right, so I'll go first. I'm Jennie, your MC. Marchers, I am you. I have been marching, standing out in that rally crowd since I was 18 years old. I know what it took for you all to be here. I know how far many of you drove, how much you sacrificed to be here, how many of you probably didn't sleep that well last night because you slept on a bus or on a floor somewhere. And I know how cold you are. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is my family. They work and pray and sacrifice alongside me because they love the March for Life too, and they believe so deeply in the preciousness of every baby in the womb. My kids have grown up as marchers, and they are thrilled to see you all here today. All right, now it's your turn. If this is your first National March for Life, could you please make some noise? Wow! Can we all welcome our first-time marchers? Welcome to the March for Life, friends. Welcome. Okay, this is going to be like the elimination dance at weddings. If you have been to the March for Life more than 5 times, can you raise your hands and make some noise? Thank you to our veteran marchers. Where are my high schoolers? Do we have any high school students here? Thank you, high school students, for bringing your amazing energy. You lift all of us up. Where are our college marchers? You all have a special place in my heart because I first marched with my college group. Go Irish.
Hello to all of the kids that are here today.
Thanks, honey. If it took you longer than 5 hours to get here, can you please shout? Did anyone travel? Wow. Is there anyone here who traveled for 10 hours or more to come to DC for the March for Life? Wow. You all are so inspiring. There is no other cause, no other mission that brings people together like the March for Life and the pro-life community. Thank you all for your dedication to being here together. I hope you are finding deep encouragement from seeing who you're standing among. All right, if you guys want to go. Thank you. I'm going to let them leave the stage because the kids want a snack. Thanks, guys. Okay. All right, that was fun. And it was also really important. I wanted you all to hear each other, to get some sense of how big and dedicated and diverse and multi-generational and pan-geographical this crowd is, because I know that you all can't see each other. But I can see you all, and let me tell you, there are a lot of people here today. I cannot even see the end of this crowd from where I'm standing. Marchers, you are part of something really big. And I mean that literally, but I also mean it metaphorically, culturally, historically. You are part of something bigger than yourself and your group, bigger even than just this day and this year. Whether this is your first march, like so many of you, or you're a seasoned veteran, you are making history by being part of the world's largest annual human rights demonstration, standing up for the very least among us. Now, today is the 53rd March for Life. We celebrate that longevity and the great tradition that we are privileged to be a part of. We truly stand on the shoulders of so many giants and so many saints in this fight for life. But we also know, 50 is the new 60 and all of that. Maybe it's the other way, 50 is the new, no, I think I had it right. We also know that the March for Life and the pro-life mission never age, right? This cause is ageless, and it never goes out of style. Our mission is as fresh and important as the gift of life itself. When we think back on those 53 years, millions and millions of Americans have stood in this place and marched for life over the course of those years. Hundreds of speakers have stood on this stage. Some of them have been very high profile. We've been joined over the years by incredibly inspiring political and cultural leaders, and we've been joined again today by awesome, impactful speakers, and we have more in store for you. We're so grateful for their witness. But marchers, I want to say to you that over the course of the past 53 years, it actually isn't the people standing on this stage who have made the March for Life so powerful. It isn't the speakers who have kept up the incredible momentum that brought down Roe versus Wade, and it isn't just the people on this stage who continue to change hearts and minds for life. It is you. It is you, the marchers. You are what make the March for Life so powerful. You are the story that needs to be told, and we have a lot of members of the media here today who I hope will tell this story. Your witness, your persistence, your determination, your energy, your unflagging, unfailing hope, your love for the littlest ones and for moms who need a hand, your joy, and of course the sheer number of you who are here, year after year after year. There is nothing in the world like the March for Life. By being here, you are part of something that has changed the course of history in our nation, saved so many lives, and moved countless hearts. Young people, our high school and college marchers, you are the heart of the March for Life and the pro-life movement. Young people, your generation is the tipping point. You are sending a message by being here to our political and cultural leaders and the whole nation that they need to sit up and pay attention because the rising generation demands protection for the unborn. That's right, let them hear you. Polls show that pro-life support is surging among young adults. Your peers, young adults 18 to 29, have been surging upward in terms of identifying as pro-life, and the percentage of young adults who think abortion should be legal under any circumstances has plummeted. You are doing that, young people. Keep evangelizing your classmates, your friends, your siblings, your teammates. Keep sharing the truth about the preciousness of every human life. The fight to end abortion is serious business, no doubt about it. But we go about that business with peace, confidence, and the overspilling joy that's on display here today, because all of this is rooted in our deep conviction that life is a gift. Life is true. Life is true, life is beautiful, and life is so, so good. No matter the circumstances, life is a gift. Marchers, that's our theme today. That's the banner under which we're marching for today's 53rd Annual March for Life. Life is a gift. Please enjoy our theme video for this year.
Life is why we march, with joy, with conviction, with purpose. Because life, all life, is a gift. But before the cheering crowds, the homemade signs, and the celebration, it all starts with a heartbeat, a single moment that changes everything. A precious little gift not wrapped in paper or tied with a ribbon, but full of promise. Every life is a gift, even when it's unexpected, even when the timing feels off, even when it's hard, even when the world says otherwise. We have been marching for over 50 years, and we will still march on. Because the world needs to hear that every single human life is precious, and because our heritage as Americans includes the right to life. We march as heirs of a legacy of courage, hope, and joy, and on behalf of generations yet to come. We march because life is beautiful, unrepeatable, and perfectly unique. Life is worth protecting and worth celebrating. We march to be the voice for the voiceless. All life deserves a chance, because every single life is a gift.
Now I am pleased to introduce to you Miss Elizabeth Oliver, President of Georgetown University Right to Life. Georgetown Right to Life and its growth in the past few years is a perfect example of the surging pro-life sentiment of Gen Z, and we're delighted that they are carrying the March for Life banner this year. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Miss Elizabeth Oliver.
When I was a little girl, my dad would often tell me the story of St. Joan of Arc. I loved hearing about her courage, her leadership, and the great white banner she carried into battle. Years later, standing outside a Planned Parenthood in high school, I was called to carry the banner for life. Overshadowed by a bleak building and angry voices, wondering whether I could really make a difference, I often recalled the words that Joan of Arc said when she doubted herself. I am not afraid. I was born to do this. This year, that banner for life has become real, as Georgetown University has the honor of carrying the official March for Life banner. It's an honor because it takes great courage to champion the truth about abortion, especially when that truth isn't popular. The truth is, we are all called to carry this banner. But courage without kindness doesn't go very far. Truth spoken harshly usually goes unheard. Truth spoken with charity, however, invites the listener to hear. I always tell new members of Georgetown Right to Life that the most important thing we do isn't hosting events with famous speakers on a big stage. It's sitting behind a fold-up table in Red Square, the very heart of our Jesuit campus. That takes courage. While tabling, our members never know whether they'll receive a supportive thumbs up or middle finger, or simply the painful indifference of the many people who are just too busy to care. But I've also seen that small table become, all in one busy afternoon, a resource center for pregnant students, an intellectual battleground, and a gathering place for our community. Pro tip, offer free munchkins, and suddenly everybody has very strong opinions. After countless conversations, I've learned the best way to start isn't with an argument, it's with a question. Why are you pro-choice? Listening, really listening, is an act of kindness. And it's through kindness itself that people begin to see what the pro-life movement truly is. It is about affirming a truth that is so obvious that it is tragically easy to miss, that life is a gift. You won't always change minds right away, but hearts do soften. I've seen it happen. 4 years ago, a pro-choice friend and I began talking about abortion and how it affects women. She was shocked to learn that 1/3 of Gen Z has been aborted. Yet she still argued vehemently that they are only clumps of cells. Just this year, after becoming an EMT and learning about the realities of pregnancy and the violence of abortion, she told me she is now strongly pro-life. I didn't change her heart. All I did was plant the seeds. It was God who did the rest. So don't be afraid to speak. Speak with courage, speak with kindness, and above all, speak the truth. You were born for this. This is why we march for life. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. All right, marchers, I now have something very special for you. It's my honor to share with you a heartfelt greeting from a great American and a former Marcher for Life who works overseas and so isn't able to be here in person today. Marchers, you have received a pontifical message from the Holy Father, Pope Leo XIV. Our understanding is that Pope Leo came to one of the very earliest marches for life here in Washington when he was a college student. He marched for life as a bishop in Peru. And here's what he has to say to all of you today. To the participants in the 2026 March for Life, I send warm greetings to those of you participating in the 2026 March for Life. I likewise express heartfelt appreciation and assure you of my spiritual closeness as you gather for this eloquent public witness to affirm that the protection of the right to life constitutes the indispensable foundation of every other human right. Indeed, a society is healthy and truly progresses only when it safeguards the sanctity of human life and works actively to promote it. In this regard, I would encourage you, especially the young people, to continue striving to ensure that life is respected in all of its stages through appropriate efforts at every level of society, including dialogue with civil and political leaders. May Jesus, who promised to be with us always, accompany you today as you courageously and peacefully march on behalf of unborn children. By advocating for them, please know that you are fulfilling the Lord's command to serve him in the least of our brothers and sisters. With these sentiments, I entrust all of you, as well as those who support you with their prayers and sacrifices, to the intercession of Mary Immaculate, patroness of the United States of America, and I gladly impart my apostolic blessing as a pledge of abundant heavenly graces. Thank you to Pope Leo for such an inspiring and encouraging message from a former college marcher. Just amazing. We'll hear next from two incredibly inspiring women. First will be Debbie Biskey, CEO of Options for Her, a pregnancy resource center in New Jersey. I had the chance to visit Options for Her this fall, and I was so impressed by what they do and how they do it, saving so many little lives with deep love for moms. Following Debbie, Sarah Herm, a mother of 4 from Iowa, will share her courageous testimony. She has an incredible story of choosing life that I can't wait for you to hear. I don't want to give anything away, so I'll let Sarah tell you the rest. Please help me welcome to the stage Debbie Biskey and Sarah Herm.
Good afternoon, friends. It is truly an honor to stand here with you today among thousands who believe that every life matters, that every baby deserves a chance, and that every woman deserves truth, dignity, and real support. My name is Debbie Biskey, and for nearly 10 years, I have had the privilege of serving women and saving lives at pregnancy resource centers. Today, I lead Options for Her, an organization devoted to helping women choose life and empowering them to become strong and confident mothers. At Options for Her, we serve women at 3 locations throughout New Jersey, in a state where many of our government leaders are hostile toward pro-life cause, and even in some cases, the work of pregnancy centers, specifically First Choice. We provide places of safety, places where women are met with no judgment, but with compassion, honesty, hope, and a future. Not only that, they are also met with real-world help and support. But we also know this: many women will never walk through the doors of a pregnancy center. That is why God has allowed us to bring the centers to them. Since May of 2020, we have used Save the Stork's mobile medical units, where over 3,500 babies have been saved in New Jersey. That's right, let that sink in, 3,500 lives. Children who are alive today because a mobile medical unit showed up at exactly the right moment. Today, Options for Her operates 2 mobile medical units with plans for a third to start operating soon. And these units are on the front lines of the abortion battle every single day. That's right. Our mobile units park outside abortion facilities and enter the space where fear, pressure, and confusion are overwhelming women. These women are often abortion-minded. They have been told lies that abortion is their only option. They are not strong enough and their future is over. And then our mobile medical unit shows up. Inside that medical mobile unit, everything changes. Women are met with truth. They are given education. They are shown ultrasound images of their baby, and most importantly, they are reminded that God created them with purpose and they are empowered. When a woman sees her baby and hears that heartbeat for the first time, it is often the first time that she can view her situation from a different perspective. Often that moment can change her entire future, not to mention the child's future. This is what I have learned after a decade of doing this work. When women are empowered with truth, hearts change. When hearts change, perspective changes. And when perspective changes, the world changes, getting us one step closer to living in a nation where abortion is absolutely unthinkable. Saving babies begin by loving women well and sacrificing our lives to support them during their time of uncertainty. At Options for Her and other pregnancy resource centers across the nation, we do not stop once a woman chooses life. We walk with her through the pregnancy, after her baby is born, and as long as it takes. We provide ongoing support, material assistance, parenting education, counseling, and practical resources. We help her grow in confidence and in strength. We help her discover that motherhood is not a limitation, but a call filling with purpose and dignity. And above all, we point her to God. Because real empowerment does not just come from cultural conversations and political debates. It comes from knowing who you are and to whom you belong to. We have watched women who once felt broken, ashamed, and afraid become amazing mothers. Women filled with courage, integrity, and hope. Women who say, I didn't think I could do this, but now I know I can. And now they want to help other women. That is pregnancy center work, and ultimately that is God's work. As we stand here today at the March for Life, let us remember the pro-life movement is not just about opposing abortion. It is about standing for life in all its beauty. We stand for babies. We stand for women. We stand for families. We stand for truth. And we stand for the God who is the author of life. Together, through faith, action, prayer, and courage, we will continue to see lives saved, women empowered, and generations transformed. Thank you for standing for life. Thank you for marching for life. And thank you for believing that truth, love, and God still absolutely change the world. God bless you.
My name is Sarah Herm, and I'm here today as living proof of the theme that life is a gift. I know this because I have seen it, held it, and fought for it by protecting and caring for each of my 4 children. When I discovered I was pregnant with my 4th child, the father told me I wasn't ready, and his harsh, judgmental words made me feel trapped and alone. He said 26 years old, 4 kids, 3 different dads, that doesn't look good. His words drove me to call the abortion facility. I was seeking guidance and asked for counseling, but was told that they didn't offer any. My only choice was to schedule an abortion and pay them, so that's what I did. It was a chemical abortion. Before I was given the pills, one of the workers said something during the ultrasound that I will never forget. She said, "You're lucky the heartbeat bill hadn't passed, because if it had, we wouldn't be able to continue. We detect a strong heartbeat." These words should remind us all that our work in the pro-life movement has real impact. The laws that we advocate for have immense power to save lives and support women. In that moment, in that cold, sterile abortion facility, I took the first drug of the chemical abortion protocol, leaving with a brown bag containing more pills for later. As soon as I walked out of the facility, it was as if the world went from dark gray to bright blue. The clinic had felt lifeless. Outside, I felt life again. That sharp contrast between darkness and light made me feel something I will never forget. I instantly began to regret my decision, and I broke down in my car. I continued to try and go about my day, but I couldn't even so much as look in my children's faces without thinking about the child within me. So I started to search. I stumbled upon a hotline number for the abortion pill reversal. A woman with a warm, helpful voice answered the phone. I realized then that I wasn't alone, I wasn't without options, and I could fight for my child's life, and so I did. I met a doctor and a team who gave me care, guidance, love, and most of all, hope. Exactly what I was needing, which was far different from the abortion clinic, which had treated me like a transaction. I was able to reverse the chemical abortion I began. My son was born completely healthy on January 11th, 2019. And he continues to thrive. Many people falsely claim that abortion pill reversal doesn't work. Some states are advancing laws that make it harder for doctors to administer abortion pill reversal. Most women now don't even have to go to a medical facility like I did. They are given abortion pills to be taken at home, alone, a highly dangerous act that can prove fatal not only for their unborn babies, but for these women. I am here to tell you that the abortion pill reversal can work. My life and the life of my son is living proof. Today, my son is one of the greatest joys of my life. Here's what I want you to know. Saving a life can be as simple as answering a phone call, driving a friend to an ultrasound, or helping her pick out a car seat. Or you can also show up in any little moment. Small sacrifices can become enormous victories that can support moms like me and children like mine. You have that power. Be that person who connects a woman to hope. Be the reason she knows she's not alone. And by the way, thank you to the men here today. Your voice carries weight, and we need you. I am Sarah Herm, and as we stand here ready to march today, join me in making a commitment of being living proof that life is a gift. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie, for sharing about the life-saving work done by PRCs, and thank you, Sarah, for sharing your powerful story of courage and hope. Marchers, I hope you're enjoying our program today. Thank you. Our team at the March for Life has worked incredibly hard to put this day together for you. It is our great privilege to do this work, truly. But stages don't spring up on the National Mall out of nowhere, believe it or not, and there are no pro-life elves waiting in the wings to do all of this work for us. Our efforts to give the pro-life movement and our whole nation the gift of the March for Life require significant effort and significant resources. That's why I'm asking you to consider supporting our work today by getting out your phone once again and texting GIVE, G-I-V-E, to 73075. The March for Life will always be free to attend. So we rely on the voluntary support of our marchers to make this powerful event happen, and you can be a part of that for future marchers. Again, to support this iconic event today, please text GIVE to 73075. Thank you for your partnership in helping us bring the march to life. Now, to tell you about the impact of our state march program, I would like to welcome to the stage my colleague Hannah Callahan, Senior State March Lead at the March for Life.
Hello, marchers. Let me just start by saying thank you. 2025 was a record year for the State March program, thanks to all of you and all of our incredible local partners who helped make this possible. We are now marching in over 20 state capitals. We are changing hearts and minds from coast to coast. And joining me on stage are some of my colleagues, representatives from our wonderful State March partner organizations. And I am so honored to be able to introduce them all to you today. Let's hear it for your State March when your state is named. We march in Alaska with the Alaska Family Council, Arizona with the Arizona Life Coalition, California with the California Family Council, Colorado with Pro-Life Colorado, Connecticut with the Connecticut Catholic Conference and the Family Institute of Connecticut, Georgia with pro-life groups all around the state, Indiana with Right to Life of Indianapolis, I hear a lot of you, Iowa with Post-Life Advocates, Kansas with Kansans for Life, yes! Kentucky with the Kentucky Right to Life, Maryland with the Maryland March for Life Committee, Michigan with Right to Life of Michigan, I see a lot of you, Montana with Pro-Life Montana and the Montana Family Foundation, New Hampshire with New Hampshire Right to Life, New Jersey with New Jersey Right to Life, North Dakota with the North Dakota Pro-Life Committee, Ohio with the Center of Christian Virtue, in Oklahoma with many pro-life groups, yes, in Oregon with the Oregon Right to Life, in Pennsylvania with the Pennsylvania Family Institute, and in Virginia with the Family Foundation, and many other states to come. I'm very excited to say. Let's hear it for our state marches, taking the fight to life for our state capitals. Be sure to mark your calendar for your state's March for Life as we bring your pro-life voice, not only to your representatives here in DC, but also to your state capitals. Please enjoy this State March program video.
Hello, marchers.
It is an honor to be here with all of you on this day, at this moment, for this important cause.
Are you ready to celebrate life with us?
We are here because we care about babies in the womb.
We, the American people, have the power to protect the unborn, both at the state and federal level.
Your voices raised together are so powerful, especially in this post-Roe era, where the people, through our elected representatives, get to set abortion policy in this country.
We are here so that the people in the State House behind us know that we care for the lives of both women and their babies.
We're here today to remind people life is not about geography or abstract lines. It's about humanity and truth.
We march for every life.
We march because we know that truth and life will ultimately prevail.
So today, we're not just marchers, but we are here as defenders of life, as warriors for truth and voices for the voiceless.
We know what we have to do. We have to continue to fight until all life, born and unborn, is protected.
To change the hearts and minds of the people. Changed hearts will lead to changed laws.
Never forget that this movement was never simply about overturning Roe. It was about challenging the culture to promote human life and to promote human flourishing.
But we can't let today be the end of the story.
We will not stop
until every life is protected and every woman is supported.
A march is a spark, but what matters is what we do with it once we go home.
Friends, let us be strong then and very courageous.
Our work is not done. Let's march.
As you can see, a number of additional friends have joined me on stage. I am now surrounded by some of our incredible pro-life leaders from across the nation who work each and every day to build a culture of life in their communities. You can see their names on the screens to my left and to my right. And each organization they represent meets a different need in the pro-life movement and in our local communities. With over 65 million Americans lost to abortion and millions of women and families wounded, the work for all of us is not over. We honor each and every one of you for your life-saving missions and invaluable work. Thank you for all of the work that you do day in and day out to make abortion unthinkable. Yes, can I hear it for my coalition partners, please? Thank you. Truly, it's such a gift. It's such a gift to be able to work with all of these amazing pro-life leaders. And finally, joining us now to lead the closing prayer is Sissy Graham Lynch, the senior advisor and spokesperson for the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association and Samaritan's Purse, an international Christian relief and evangelization organization. Following the prayer, we'll start our march as we listen to the West's rendition of God Bless America. Please welcome to the podium, Sissy Graham Lynch.
Who's ready to march? I'm here to say almost 10 years ago, this march convicted me and changed my life. I was a woman and a Christian who sat silently on the sidelines for so many years and had struggled through my own pregnancies thinking I was going to be an unfit mom. But it was this, the young generation, the high school students, the college students, and I saw them say they were not going to accept Roe as their future, and that they saw it put to an end. And now we have a generation marching saying we're going to make it unthinkable. And so I want to thank you. And let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, we come today and we are gathered with grateful hearts, knowing that life is a gift, a sacred gift given by you alone. And because you, God, loved us so much, you gave us the greatest gift of all, and that was your Son, Jesus Christ, who came to this earth. He died on the cross for our sins. He defeated death, and he rose again, that all who trust in him will be saved. But it's through him we know the worth and the beauty of every life that you create. Lord, we thank you for a president and a vice president who value all life. And we thank you for all the hard work that has been done and that has been won. But Lord, as we leave this place today, we know there's a lot of work still to be done. So Lord, as we go, give us the strength, fill us with the courage, give us the compassion. But Lord, may we stand with an unwavering conviction. And may we be a nation who stands before the world and says that we are a country that values all life, Lord, because you are the giver and you are the author of life. And we pray this in the powerful name of Jesus. Amen. Let's march.
All right, friends, just a couple of administrative announcements as we make our way to the start of the march. First things first, we like to keep the Capitol grounds as clean as we found them, so please pick up your trash, exit behind you and along the sides through the security checkpoints to make your way to the march starting point. Please follow the marshals. They will guide you in the correct direction. There's a lot of you here today, so please follow their lead so we can maintain everyone's safety. And with all of that, let's go march!
If tomorrow all the things were gone I worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, and from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and from New York to LA, there's a pride in